okay? Now, I'm gonna take his lapel, I'm gonna turn it into himself, and I'm gonna bring it to the outside of his other shoulder, okay? So when I get all the way up here, I'm gonna feed it to my hand, fingers facing out, and I'm gonna grip the base of the lapel. Now, if you've noticed, I've created a little perfect baby bib, okay? We were thinking about calling this the COVID choke because a lot of times when I choke somebody, they cough. So it's such a good choke, it makes you cough, like COVID. So we were thinking about doing that because a lot of times when I actually do this, we practice this, more times than none I get somebody coughing, you know. So if the room is coughing, guys, it's not COVID, it's a choke. So, but this is why we call it the bib choke, because it literally just looks like a baby bib. So I'm gonna bring the lapel all the way over to the outside. I'm gonna grip facing out. I'm gonna take my pointer finger, draw a straight line until it locks the lapel back, okay? Kind of like archery, like a bow and arrow. And then I'm gonna wrap the rest of my fingers behind it. And now I'm going to pull the lapel to his neck. I'm gonna wrap it all the way around. And I'm going to lift my elbow, and with my hand holding the lapel, I'm gonna punch it behind my own arm, okay? And by doing that, it should, oh, by the last detail, I raise my body up, lean across, and punch, okay? You okay? Okay.
You didn't cough, though.
That's one of the worst ones I've felt off, promise.
Yeah. So, I do this from half guard, side control, from the back. The back is personally my favorite, a little more advanced. I'll show it to you, but it is essentially the counter to counter for a bow and arrow. So you bow and arrow, they defend the bow and arrow, you set up this. Okay, so I'm here, side control, I pull the lapel, and I'm gonna feed it all the way across to the outside. I'm gonna grip facing out, take my pointer finger, draw a straight line, and I'm gonna pull that, kind of like that bow all the way back, right? And then I'm gonna wrap my fingers on the inside, wrap the lapel around, wrap the neck, and I'm gonna lean my body across, and I'm gonna punch down and pull at the same time, okay? If you're really mean or a big, strong guy, you're probably gonna decapitate somebody, so be gentle, okay? So I'm here, I'm gonna reach, and if the lapel is in here, okay, I'm just gonna hold the side control, and I'm gonna pull the lapel out. And if I were to have pulled this up, and I were to hold this here, now you already know what the technique is, but do you feel like this is in danger?
Not from this. I'm worried about this.
And you're worried about this, but do you feel, even if I pull this, do you feel in danger?
I mean, I do, but only because of this arm.
I mean, but do you feel like anything's gonna choke you?
I don't think.
No, because there's nothing, the slack is too loose here, okay? So if the slack's too loose, you can't choke them. But nobody's noticing this part, okay? You notice when they have this lapel and they get here, okay? And there's all kinds of options to finishing this, okay? And they're already aware of this lapel. But if you were to grab their lapel, I literally did this 2 days ago in class, and the exact words were, "Did you just choke me with my own lapel?" And I said, "Yes, I did." And they're like, And I go, "Exactly, that's the point. I'm now doing something that you're not used to, and that's the beauty about Jiu-Jitsu. Because if you can capitalize on a moment that somebody's not aware of, or they're not used to that practice, that's how you defeat them." So here, he can grab also the lapel himself, and he can try to hold this. But because I'm now using two hands to one, I'm pulling and punching. Now he's gonna punch himself in the throat as I'm still choking him. He's just gonna, it's essentially a fist choke. He's just gonna choke himself with his own fist, okay? So again, lapel, I'm in side control, got a cross face, pull the lapel all the way up to the cross side. And make sure I have a nice tight grip on the base of the lapel. Pointer finger pull all the way back for like I'm doing a bow and arrow. Wrap my fingers inside. Wrap the lapel around his throat. Lift his head up. That's the trick, okay? Lift his head up. So when I'm here, if I don't lift his head up, punching down is not going to be as strong. But when I lift up, that is going to create the leverage against the choke coming in. Because I'm lifting up against gravity, but I'm punching down with it. And that's the leverage going around his neck, okay? So once I'm here, boom, I bring my chest up and over and keep all my weight forced on top. Okay?
Nice.
Do you guys have any questions on this? Do we want to see like full live motion? No? Yeah? Okay. Do we use a white belt? No, I'm kidding. So if I were to really, like, I'm not gonna punch hard, but look, if I was really here, this is exactly the speed and everything I would do it with. I would hold that here, and I would control, and I'd wait for him to think that I'm not gonna grab it. But when I do, I'm gonna slowly start ripping this in here, and then
Nice.
it comes on so quick, right? But like I promised, I'll show you if I get it from the back. So this is my trick to the back here, okay? If I had a bow and arrow, okay? If I had a bow and arrow, okay? He's not worried about this because he doesn't know what this is. He's worried about this because it's around his neck. So when he goes to break that grip off, no, he broke the grip. But what he doesn't realize is that he literally set himself up for me to grip this, okay? And as I'm sitting here, okay, now I'm gonna take my hand and I'm just gonna come 12 inches down. And once I'm here, I'm gonna yank this all the way up, and this one comes all the way back, and I'm here. And now the last bait of them all, I drop my leg so he can hip escape, put his back to the floor, and I come up, okay? So if I was here, and let's say, because by the way, sit up real quick. We show a lot of this technique. Never happens. We're never ever sitting here, right? Never happens. We're always on the side. So I'm here. I'm going for that lapel choke, okay? Or I'm going for that bow and arrow. He defends it. And now I'm going to feed this all the way over to the other side. Now, as I drop my foot to the outside, I bait him to go to the back. So he puts his back to the floor so he can escape the back take. And then that's when I turn up to him. And then it sits right here. And all I got to do is just lean forward onto him. It's super simple. A little more advanced, but at the same time, this can be played from anywhere, okay? So just so you see, if I was in half guard, I could stay here, yank the lapel up, bring it back, wrap. I could do it if I was in side control. I can take it all the way to the back. It doesn't matter where it goes. This position is dominant everywhere. I have a student, he's retarded. You have to forgive him. He literally does it from the closed guard. I literally yell at him, please don't do that. You're going to get your arms ripped off. But he still does it. And it's literally, it gets me frustrated because I'm always afraid he's going to get his arms broken because he's leaning inside the closed guard. But he still gets everybody with it. He was supposed to be here today, but he got stuck at work. So I'm glad, because if you would have done this to you guys and I told you, you'd probably armbar him, which I'm hoping you would. But nobody can stop him though. Nobody can stop him. He's got long arms. He reaches inside the closed guard, does the same choke, and he gets everybody with it. So, so let's go ahead and practice for a little bit, and then afterwards, I'll come around, make sure everybody's got it down, and then we'll get some rounds hopefully. All right.
Do it from side control, guys.
Yeah. Let's go. 1, 2, 3.